The Arctic is a land of unforgiving ice, where survival is a daily battle against the elements. Here, in one of the harshest environments on Earth, the Inuit have thrived for thousands of years. They are not just survivors. They are masters of the frozen world, living side by side with one of the most fearsome predators known to man, the polar bear. A fully grown polar bear is a monster of muscle and fur, standing over 10 feet tall when it rears up. Its massive paws, each armed with claws as long as a man's fingers, can tear through flesh and bone with a single swipe. It is silent when it moves, a ghost on the ice, and with a sense of smell that can detect a seal beneath thick layers of snow. It is nearly impossible to escape once it catches a human scent. To most people, an encounter with a polar bear would mean certain death. But the Inuit, they have learned how to outthink the king of the Arctic. The first ruling, never be caught off guard. Survival begins long before a bear is even seen. The Inuit know that the Arctic gives warnings. If you know where to look: fresh tracks in the snow, disturbed ice near a seal hole, the sudden silence of birds, or the uneasy behavior of sled dogs. All of these can signal the presence of a bear. The Inuit are always watching, always listening, because in the Arctic, the moment you stop paying attention is the moment you die. When moving through bear country, they avoid areas where polar bears hunt, especially near open water where seals are plentiful. They camp where the wind carries their scent away from danger, and if they spot a bear in the distance, they don't panic. Running is useless. A polar bear can sprint faster than a racehorse, and it can track a scent for miles. The key is to move carefully, staying downwind and using the terrain to disappear. But what if the bear keeps coming? What if it has locked onto its target and there's no easy escape? The Inuit don't rely on luck. They rely on generations of knowledge. If a bear is approaching, the first strategy is to confuse it. Throwing a piece of clothing or an object can make the bear pause just long enough to create an opening for escape. Some hunters carry strips of dried fish or seal meat, tossing them aside as a distraction. The bear, driven by hunger, might stop to investigate. Just enough time to slip away. But sometimes there is no escape. The bear is too close. It is watching, waiting, testing its prey. This is where the true skill of the Inuit is revealed. In the past, before firearms became common, Inuit hunters faced down polar bears with nothing but spears and harpoons. They knew that attacking a polar bear's thick fur and fat was pointless. It was like stabbing a moving wall of ice. Instead, they aimed for the eyes or the mouth, the only weak spots. A single well-placed strike could be the difference between life and death. Some legends speak of warriors who, in desperation, would lure the bear in close, waiting until the last second before driving a harpoon deep into its throat. It was a final, dangerous gamble, because if they missed, there was no second chance. Today, Inuit hunters carry rifles, but the respect for the bear remains unchanged. Killing a polar bear is never taken lightly. It is done only when absolutely necessary, and every part of the bear is used, ensuring that nothing goes to waste. To the Inuit, the polar bear is not just an animal. It is a spirit of the ice, a force of nature that must be honored. Despite their skills, the Inuit know one undeniable truth: the Arctic does not forgive mistakes. A single moment of carelessness, a misstep on thin ice, an underestimation of a bear's speed, any of these can be fatal. And yet they endure, not because they are stronger, but because they understand the land better than anyone else. They respect the balance of nature, knowing when to fight, when to run, and when to simply disappear into the endless white. For the Inuit, surviving a polar bear attack is not about brute force. It is about knowledge, patience, and respect. It is about living in harmony with a world that is as deadly as it is beautiful, a world where man and beast are both hunters, both survivors, forever locked in the endless dew. In the Arctic, there is no room for error. A polar bear attack is not like an attack from any other predator. There is no growling, no warning, just a massive, white shadow moving with impossible speed. It does not hesitate, it does not bluff. When a polar bear decides to strike, it does so with the full force of nature itself. For the Inuit, the moment a bear charges is the moment instincts take over. There is no time to think, no time to weigh options. Either you are prepared or you die. In the past, hunters faced charging bears with only a spear, forcing them to make a single, perfect strike before the bear was upon them. Some stories tell of men who had to let the bear get close, dangerously close, so they could drive their weapon deep into the animal's open mouth or eye. It was a battle of courage, skill, and sheer willpower. The hunter who hesitated for even a heartbeat was lost. Today, things are different. Modern Inuit hunters carry rifles, but even then, a polar bear is not easy to kill. Its skull is thick, and bullets that don't hit the right spot may only anger the beast. Some Inuit still carry their ancestors' knowledge, using bear spears with crossburs near the tip, designed to stop a bear in its tracks by preventing the weapon from being pushed out after impact. These weapons, used with the wisdom of centuries, are a testament to the harsh reality of Arctic survival. But the Inuit know that survival isn't just about weapons. It's about reading the bear, understanding its behavior. Some bears are curious, testing the limits of their territory. Others are starving, desperate, willing to fight for food. Knowing the difference is critical. A well-fed bear might be scared away with noise, flares, or even a determined show of strength. But a starving bear, that's a different story. A starving bear has nothing to lose. There are stories of hunters who underestimated the patience of a polar bear. A bear might seem to leave, slowly padding away into the snow, disappearing into the white nothingness of the tundra. But the Inuit know better. A polar bear will stalk its prey for hours, sometimes even days, waiting for the perfect moment. Some hunters have set up camp, believing the danger had passed, only to wake up to the silent figure of a bear just feet away, watching, waiting, ready to strike. One mistake, one miscalculation, is all it takes. The Inuit have lost men to the ice and to the bears. It is a reality they accept, but they do not fear the polar bear the way outsiders might. They respect it, because in the Arctic, fear is a weakness, but knowledge is power. Despite the dangers, the Inuit do not see the polar bear as an enemy. They understand that it is a creature of the same world they call home. They share the same frozen hunting grounds, the same relentless winters, the same struggle to survive. To the Inuit, the bear is not just a threat. It is a teacher, a symbol of endurance, a reminder of nature's power. For centuries, they have lived alongside the greatest predator of the North, not by overpowering it, but by outsmarting it. They have learned its ways, adapted their own survival strategies, and passed down these lessons through generations. Because to live in the Arctic, to truly belong to the ice, one must understand the balance of nature. The polar bear rules the frozen wasteland, but the Inuit endure. They always have. And as long the ice stretches across the horizon, as long as the wind howls across the tundra, they always will.